Happy New Year! It's 2024, the year for more love, more peace, more joy, more happiness, more understanding, more patience, and whatever else you need more of. I pray that God gives it to you and blesses you with it in 2024 and beyond, like sight, like light and beyond. Okay, I pray that you receive that in Jesus' mighty and powerful name. Now, before we get started and into anything, I just want to lay this on the table for those of you who are very, very perceptive and sees everything like that with the magnifying glass. Yes, my nails are they're falling off. Only two still hanging in there. Okay. They just hanging. I wish they would hurry and get off. They hurt. It's annoying. Okay. So just wanted to get that out of the way right quick. So I'm sure I use my hands a lot. And for those people who, again, are very perceptive, they're probably like looking at like, what's going on with her nails? She needs to get it together. She should have had it together before this recording. No, I ain't feel like it. I have a job to do, and I need to do it at all costs, regardless of what's going on with the nails. Okay, all right. Okay, this is the Anointed to Dance TikTok page. I am Trina, and the purpose of this page is to assist all liturgical dancers and praise dancers across the world, wherever you are, regardless of what language you speak, nationality, or origin. I am here to assist you because dance is universal. Assist you in bringing your dance ministry to another level in God and for God. Now, if there's a dance video you would like for me to review and you want my positive feedback and honest feedback, let me know. I would love to hear from you and see your videos. And I would like to know, see where you are in your ministry and help you grow in any way that I can, possibly can. And if there are any topics that you would love to hear me discuss, definitely let me know that as well. You can either DM me or write it down in the comments. Again, I love to hear from you. And again, I want to hear more in 2024. So let's get with it. Let's get started. Today, as you can see, the Meritorines ministry. Many of us are married to our ministry. We have been married to our ministry, have been married for a long, long time. And we're going to talk about that, the seriousness of it. For those of you who are really, really serious, you feel like you're married to your ministry of dance, the gift that God has blessed you with and anointed you with. Okay, so we're going to dive into it, go into different areas as it relates to the dance ministry and being married to it. But let's first start with Genesis chapter 2. When God created man, and God created a man with a womb, a woman for Adam. He created Eve for Adam and created a union. That was in Genesis, the beginning of time. That was a union, a marriage, and created by God and orchestrated by God so that it can result in offspring, children, and which end I'm gonna go back and forth with ministry of dance or whatever gift that you may have. Your offspring is the result of your gifting, whether it's dance and singing, your vocals, whatever it is, it's movement, choreography, those of your all your offsprings. So we're gonna talk about that a little more. So let's get started with the beginning portion of marriage. What is marriage? In general, we all know that it's a union, it's a coming together of two individuals in a natural, we're going to speak naturally. Even though in the biblical way, in Genesis, God created that union, God created that marriage, so paperwork was not invented. So it was a spiritual union, it was a physical union, and it was an emotional union that God created between Adam and Eve. But here with man creating stuff, dipping their hands and stuff, and having their own rules and laws and regulations. This is what we know of as human beings, what marriage is. It's a union, a coming together of two individuals who are in a relationship, and signing on a piece of paper that they're going to commit themselves to one another emotionally, spiritually, becoming one. As Adam said, Eve, they become one flesh. So the same thing with human form with us. When we started having marital license, with rules, we have laws, we have beliefs, two individuals coming together with individual beliefs, but prayerfully they have the same common denominator as it relates to their beliefs. They come in together with attitudes of the attitude of, hey, let's do it, let's stick with it, let's make this marriage work, whatever the case may be. If it all was orchestrated by God, because some of us got into marriages orchestrated by ourselves. That's another story. Okay. All right. That's why we're together now, many of us. Um, so that's the marriage. That's a union. And another definition of marriage is a mixture of two or more elements. And I kind of see that as the elements of you as an individual, myself as an individual, and your gifting, your craft, you and your craft, whether your gifting is dancing, if it's singing, if it's playing an instrument, if it's the gift of preaching, the gift of teaching. Those are many different gifts that God has blessed many of us with. Some of us have the gift of directing, whether it's choir direction, directing a choir, or directing a movie. We're not just going to stay in the church room. We're going to go in the secular realm as well. So many of us, many individuals are gifted and anointed by God to be musical directors, to be movie directors, to produce movies, to produce music, to write movies, storylines, and plays, and to write music. Many people are so gifted and anointed by God to do those things. Some people are just gifted in acting. Okay. And some people are gifted in being an activist. Some people are just gifted. It's like, hey, that is the person to call when you need somebody to fight for those who can't fight for themselves. Those activists, they're anointed and gifted in that area. And as a business owner, many people are just gifted in owning a business, and whatever business it may be. They're just gifted by God and anointed by God to operate that business and be very successful at it. But today we're going to talk about dance. So all of these areas you're gifted in, many individuals are gifted in, they're married to that particular gifting. They're married to that particular thing. And as it relates to us dancers, we're married to dance, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, physically, um, in so many different ways. We are actually married to the gift of dance, the gift, just dance, period, especially dancing for the Lord. If some individuals are not, some people, let me just say it this way, some people are somewhat married, they're in a relationship with dance, with dancing for the Lord, liturgical or praise dance. And I say that in the sense of they're not wholeheartedly into it. Some people do it, are doing it just to do it because it's something to do, or they just like it, but they're really not married to it because it's not their passion. So when you're really passionate about something, you give it your all. And I've seen quite a few people who've been in the dance ministry or any other areas in ministry. It's not really something that they want to do because they probably still trying to find their really gift area that they're gifted in and anointed in. But as it relates to gift of dance, everybody is not in there that's married to that gift of dance. And so you can tell when individuals are really passionate about dance, passionate and in the sense of whereby they love it so much until they light up when you start talking about dance, like I do. I always do. I'm a very quiet person. I'm an introvert and I'm very quiet. I can be very talkative, especially when it comes to dance. The gift of dance is dancing, period, but dancing for the Lord. I'll run my mouth, see my nails. My mouth will just run, 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 run. I could talk for hours about dance, but many other things I probably will, but that's one of the things that I can talk hours about. Other than that, I'm just mute. I'm quiet, I'm taking it all in, feeling spirits, etc. And I talk about that, the spiritual realm, discernment of spirit, but just being passionate about dance and loving it. And you just can't stop thinking about it. Sometimes you dream about it. I dream about it many times, especially when I'm choreographing a piece. At 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, dance movements in my head. I have to get up and write it down. Well, I draw my little people. For those of you who've seen my videos before, and I talked about choreography, the art of choreography. I draw people. I draw on my little stick people of choreography to help me remember. And then I go back to bed. That's how it was when I was writing my book as well, Anointed to Dance book, liturgical book. God would give me visions in my head in the middle of the night or wee hours of the morning. And I would get up, write it down. I had to have an actual notepad next to the nightstand. For when I do get up, I could write it down and go to sleep, because there were times before I had the notepad, I didn't have I thought I had the vision and I figured I'll remember what the vision was. But the next day, as I went along about my day, the next day I forgot what was revealed to me. So I started putting a notepad next to my nightstand or on my nightstand. So I've done that for choreography whenever I choreograph a piece or in the midst of choreographing a piece. But I also did it when I was writing, in the process of writing my book. So you're thinking about it. You just married mentally to your gifting, and you just can't shake it. It's just every fiber of your being. It just speaks singing. If you're a singer, it speaks acting. If you're an actor, it speaks choreography. If you're a choreographer, it speaks producing. It speaks music if you play an instrument. It's always calling you. It's like, and then with dance, it's always calling me. If I hear dance, if I'm in the middle of something and I hear somebody mention dance and they were on the other side of the room, or not still within earshot, my antennas go up. How many of you experience that? Your antennas go up when they talk about your gifting? Yeah, that's me. That's because you're married to it. It keeps your attention. Your attitude changes. You light up when you're talking about your dance, your gift of dance, because you are married to it mentally. You're married to it psychologically. You're married to it spiritually, just like the union between man and woman. You're spiritually connected, that tie, that bond. And that's how it is when it comes to your gifting. And again, we're talking about gift of dance in particular. Of course, I'm gonna throw in other examples like singing, acting, instrumental musicians playing instruments, and producers, writers of many different areas. Again, music, movies, etc. And dance, when you find that it's your happy place, you light up. It's because you light up because it is your happy place, because you're married to your ministry. And your happy place, the gift of dance or whatever gifting it may be, singing, playing an instrument, or acting, if you always find yourself in your happy place in those areas, that's your ministry, that's your gifting, that's your calling that God has anointed you to do. And you need to do it to the fullest of your and the best of your ability, and always study your craft and make sure you always tweak it, and always improve. There's always room for improvement. So that was just a little special nugget right there for you. Okay. All right. And we're going to talk about therapy, because your gifting can be your therapy, and dance is my happy place, and many of your happy place is a happy place for many of you, and which is also can also be your therapy. We're going to talk about that as another topic. We're going to talk about that next week, actually. Okay, so since you're married to your ministry, in every which way possible, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Physically, in the sense of because you actually have to do it. And every fiber of your being is like the hairs on your arms and the back of your neck always rise up when it comes to your gifting. Okay. So what happens when you're dating someone or you're married to someone who really doesn't understand or 100% genuinely support your gifting, support your marriage. Okay. I recall Pastor Deborah B. Morton of Greater St. Stephen of New Orleans. I think she wrote the book or either spoke. I think it was one of her sermons. My husband has two wives, and her husband is Bishop Paul S. Martin. And the other wife, of course, she's the wife, but the other wife is the church. He's a preacher. He's a preacher. So a lot of time goes into preaching. So same thing with dance. A lot of time goes into that other gifting. And so the person, your significant other or your spouse, have to be understanding. They have to be respectful. And most importantly, they need to be genuinely supportive in your other marriage in your second marriage. Okay. And I say that because genuinely, because from my experience, I was married, and from my experience over the years, initially it seemed like my spouse was genuinely supportive, but as time went on, and my spiritual discernment was sharpening even more as time went on by the year. And my spiritual discernment, and the spirit and gut feeling, like they say, the gut feeling, that's the spiritual discernment. Okay. Always told me that he's really not genuinely supportive. And because there were always comments, negative comments that were thrown out. I mean, I'm gonna use this one as an example. One day we were going to the mall, and I wasn't quite ready. I wasn't rushing. I was taking my time because the mall is going to be there, right? And so it's not going anywhere. And just so happy he was ready to go, ready to head on out the door. But I was still getting together. I'm like, the mall gonna be there. I don't like all that shopping anyway, believe it or not. And we went like 3, 4 times a week out. That was kind of, that's another story. That's not me, but that was him. And so this particular day, he was ready to go and head out the door, and I wasn't. And of course, he made a negative comment. If it was dance, you would have been gone. If it was dance, I had a time for a rehearsal. I had a time to show up at church for praise and worship or for the piece, that I had a time set to be at a certain place. And I'm a very timely person. I like to get to places early, definitely making me on time. I hate going to places late. If I'm at something late, it was beyond my control, trust me, whether it's work, church, school, and an event I was asked to be to attend, a wedding, whatever it may be. If I'm late, it's beyond my control because I am a stickler for time, always have been, and always will be. So that's that. So I had a time, always had a time to be at rehearsals for when it came to dance. There was always a time set. So I always made sure I was there on time if I wasn't there 30 minutes before. But negative comments like that always was like a jab to me. All he had to do was just turn the knife, and it'll, you know, it would have made it even worse. But negative comments like that. So and there was another example, two different occasions when I went to speak at different events. Uh, um, I went in Albany, Georgia to speak. I was a special guest speaker to speak a sermonette as well as dance in ministry, do a choreographed piece. And as well as the time when I went to Germany. I was invited to minister in Germany as well as teach the dance ministry there for a 3-day workshop. So those two different events at different times, different years, um, each time I had to go, like right before, days before, if not the day before, the devil got into my spouse and caused great chaos. It was like, really? And the devil knows what to do to try to get you off course, because the devil knows what's ahead, how many people are going to be blessed by your ministry. And so the devil knew what was ahead, the message I was going to speak, and how, and the dance movements that I was going to do, as well as the words that I was going to teach and instruct to the individuals who were going to listen to my teaching. And the devil knew who was going to be blessed and how many people were going to be blessed. And he needed to block that. He needed to alter my spirit. And same thing, some of you may have experienced this as well. He needed to alter my spirit and throw me off course so that I won't be fully effective and in ministering and ministering to the individuals who needed to be ministered to effectively, and bless them abundantly, spiritually and emotionally, and motivating them and encouraging them. The devil wanted to block all of that. So he used my spouse that time, those 2 times, and many other times, but I'm just using these as an example as to pop up in my head. The devil used them in a mighty, mighty way. And to the point whereby in Albany, Georgia, he was like, I'm not going, just, I'm like, okay, you don't have to go. I'm going by myself. I'll try myself. And I'm that kind of person too. If I'm determined to do something, I'm going to do it. I made a commitment, and I was determined to fulfill that commitment. God anointed me with this particular dance to go forth, this particular gift to go forth and dance, and this particular gift to minister in word. Okay. And so I was determined. I had a mission to accomplish, and I was determined to go fulfill that mission. I had a purpose to fulfill on those particular times, and I refused to let the devil win. And of course, he bowed down and he came along with me to Albany, Georgia, but he was not able to attend Germany trip with me for reasons beyond his control. But I was glad anyway, because I really wanted to be um, fully focused. I really wanted to be fully engaged and anointed fully from head to toe, and spiritually and prepared to go forth in Germany to teach, to instruct, to teach choreography, teach in the sense of the word, speaking, to instruct in classes, and teach a choreography. I really wanted to be fully engaged and fully prepared without any distractions, because your spouse can be a distraction, honestly, for what you really, really, really want to do and need to do for God. And so when you have someone who really doesn't fully understand that marriage, that other spouse that you have, spiritual spouse that you have, your gifting, whether it's singing, dancing, acting, or whatever it may be, if you have some individual, you're a significant other or a spouse who really doesn't fully understand or don't want to understand or is jealous of that other marriage, then you need to ask and pray to God for guidance and how to handle that situation. Now, if you're dating someone and they're not on that level and seem to be jealous of it, ask for God to sharpen your discernment of spirit first and foremost, so you'll know for certain. And keep your ears open, keep your eyes wide open, your spiritual eyes open, and your mouth shut, and keep your ears open and listen. And your discernment of spirit, continue to sharpen it up, so you'll be able to hear and feel and sense and know whether that individual you are actually dating or engaged to is really fully, genuinely accepting, respectful, love, and support genuinely, again, support your marriage, whether it be your business. It's like, you met me like this. Okay, you met me dancing. You met me singing. You met me playing an instrument. You met me in the process of building my business, or you met me while in the midst of my business. You met me after 3 years of my business being in operation. How can you come to me and ask me to step back a little bit? Don't work as much. You need to be over here. You need to spend more time with me. No, You can't ask a person to change for you. That's very selfish of you. And whoever's dealing with this right now, just keep this in mind and pray. That's very selfish of that individual. It's like a narcissist. They want all of your time. They want all of your attention. If they see something else making you happy besides that individual, that's a problem. That's a problem. That is something that I experienced. That dance really made me happy. It really was my happy place. And I did sense and saw and heard the jealousy, the jealous spirit pop up every now and again, as relates to my other marriage. So being married to your ministry is very, very important. And you need to ask God to send someone to you. If you're not married already, or if you're single, send someone to you who is fully designed by him and sent by him to support you in your ministry, in your other marriage, because two intertwined. See the two rings up there? Two intertwined. This is you, this is your ministry. And in between, let me see, how can I put that? In between is your significant other. You know, maybe I should, let's do it like this. Your significant other right here. This is you, this is your significant other, but your gifting, your ministry is right here. Okay? Your ministry is right here. I can't get my fingers together. This is your ministry. And your significant other needs to understand that, hey, there's something in between the two of you now. It's been here before you came. Okay? Before you came in the picture. All right, let's get that straight. Before you came in the picture, I was doing this. Okay. So, and just like with your insignificant other, your spouse, or someone you're dating, if they have a particular ministry or gifting that they have, you need to be 100% supportive and respectful, and loving and appreciating that individual and that their other marriage as well. So you have to reciprocate. You have to reciprocate. It can't be one-sided. Okay, so keep that in mind. So in closing, I want to encourage you, as well as I encourage myself, to stay married to your ministry. Stay married to it, regardless of what the situation may be in your life. You're dating someone, you're single, or if you are married, stay naturally married to a human being. I'm gonna put it that way, to be specific. Stay married to your spiritual, God-gifted, anointed gift that he has given you. Just like God anointed David, God anointed you. God, you use Prophet Samuel to anoint David from head to toe. I'm just using him as an example. There were many more who were anointed by God. God anointed David. God anointed you. God anointed me. And there's nothing that nobody can do to shake it. People will try to shake it, try to destroy it, try to destroy your spirit, destroy your ministry, because the devil knows exactly how effective and anointed you are, and how many lives you're going to save with your ministry, with your gifting, your gift of singing, your gift of playing a musical instrument, your gift of producing, your gift of writing, your gift of dance, your gift of organization, your gift of being an activist, whatever it may be, your gift of acting. We all have a purpose-driven life, and I encourage each and every one of you to fulfill your purpose. Stay married to your ministry and let no one destroy what God has put together. No one. Now on next week, my ministry is my therapy. My ministry is my therapy. How about that? It was mine for many, many years. All right, we'll talk about that, especially in the marriage. Stay married to your ministry and make sure God is in the midst. All right. You have a great one and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye. Gotta go.